In this video, we're going to talk about Listkit, which is a cold email platform that allows you to do a bunch of things from the platform itself. So we are talking about finding leads, finding people, finding companies, finding your ideal prospects through a search function, as well as automatically verifying your leads, your emails, and then reaching out to your ideal prospects directly from the platform through a little sequencer that they set up. So as you can see right here on the left part of my screen, you can see all of the features that Listkit has. And from the search feature, it allows you to find companies, find people, find leads. If you're familiar with Apollo, Clay, AI Arc, any of these other tools, this is what Listkit does as well, except that there are a bunch more filters that I find extremely useful. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through all of them. One big advantage of using Listkit is it verifies all the emails automatically for you without you having to download a bunch of CSVs, importing them into a verification tool, in hours for the verification tool to do its job, and downloading it back again, importing it into another tool, which is a sequencer, to actually run your campaigns. Now, Listkit can do the entire workflow for you. So you find your leads from the search function, you verify them automatically through a verification workflow they have built in the platform. And you can also reach out to them through the email engine, which you can find right here as a beta version because this is a new feature. Now you can connect inboxes to the email engine, which is, like I said, just a sequencer. You can connect inboxes, you can purchase inboxes. ScaleMo is actually the partner with Listkit for inbox creation and setup. So if you need new inboxes and you already have a Listkit platform, you can, or subscription, you can also purchase inboxes from here. And then it allows you to manage, to launch, manage, and run your campaigns from the campaign section. There's the master inbox where you can look at replies, reply to leads, follow up with leads, and book them on a call with you. The analytics section where you can look at your stats, your campaign stats. And then finally, the contacts. And last thing, there's a bunch of integrations which you can find right here as well. Now, let's get started on the search function. We're going to start and we're going to do a search of law firms. Now, one thing I found extremely useful by Listkit is the pre-built filters right here, as you can see. So what I can do from here is I can literally just select law firms, and Listkit is going to automatically apply a bunch of filters that are relevant to my search on the platform itself. So check this out. If you scroll down right here, we're going to close this thing. If you scroll down right here, as you can see, it already selected a bunch of filters that could be relevant, in this case, based on my search. So if we go to company, for example, we're going to open this up. You can see they already selected 4 or 5 different industries: law practice, courts of law, legal services, legal, B2C, B2B. So we already have the industries set up. Keywords, already selected 4 keywords: law, legal, attorney. Employees, already selected a bunch of ranges. Obviously, in this case, we're going to change this. We're going to go for small law firms, for example. Let's say this is, just for instance, for the sake of this video. And then as you can see, you already selected a bunch of filters that are relevant to my search. Country as well, United States, Canada, UK as well. We're going to keep that as it is. And then you can go ahead and change the filters appropriately based on your search. So let's say, for example, we've got 35,000 law firms or search results that we see right here based on these filters. Let's say that I only want the law firms with Google Analytics. So we're going to go here to the technologies section. We're going to click on Google Analytics. We're going to save this, and then the search is going to update. You can also include companies, company name. Basically, you just want to find one company. You want to find all the people or specific job titles of that company, specific leads of that company. You can do that right here. You can include other companies by attaching the domain names of those companies right here in a list. You can also exclude companies. Let's say you want to exclude your current clients, prospects in the CRM, leads that you're talking to, which is a very wise decision. And then you can also filter by a bunch of other things, such as business model, revenue range, growth stage, audience, so target audience that the company is serving, is going after. Let's say you only want law firms using Google Analytics with 1 to 10 employees in the United States, Canada, UK. They're serving families, going after families. Let's see what we can come up with. 250 companies, as you can see right here. And then let's scroll down as well. can filter by companies hiring or not hiring right now, and location, like we already talked about. Other locations, just city, region, state. You can go as granular as you want. And then as well, you can go to the people section and then actually find leads. So filter by people, use people filters such as, even income range, net worth, which is very interesting, gender, married, department of the person, seniority level. In this case, the pre-built search already selected a bunch of job titles, which I don't disagree with. These are CEO, owner, founder, president, obviously focused on the decision-making titles in these companies. Let's say I'm good with that. I just want to remove VP because VP could also be, VP of marketing, VP of HR, those kind of titles that I don't want to reach out to, for example. Let's say I only want to reach out to these specific job titles right here. I'm going to click on save. And then, like I said, you can even filter by children, whether the person has children or not, which is very interesting. Homeowner, whether they're married, people location as well. So in this case, we have 350 people. If we do country and we select United States only, we're going to click on save. Let's see, we are left with 269 people. You can see the results right here at the top of my screen. You can also filter by city, state, and again, all the other filters that we already talked about at the company level. Now, let's say I am good with this search. What I'm going to do is simply download leads, and you can see you can choose all the data or the pieces of data you want, such as business email, mobile phone number. In this case, let's say you only want the business email, click on that, and then additional fields, right? This is going to tell you, it's going to ask you which fields you want to be included in your CSV. So let's say I want this one, company link the URL. I want a tech stack because we are filtering for Google Analytics specifically. I want location and person link the URL as well. You can also filter by max pool at a company. So in this case, it's not super relevant because we are going after pretty small companies, like 1 to 10 employee law firms. But let's say you were going after larger organizations, you might want to filter by max people per company, because I'll tell you this, if you reach out to enterprise companies, for example, and you use a bunch of filters, you find a bunch of leads, and you end up reaching out to 20 people at the same company, well, the like third people or fifth person that you reach out to the same company, that enterprise organization is probably going to block you, and all of the other emails are going to bounce. It has happened quite a few times in what I've seen in campaigns I've seen, and so you definitely want to use this filter of essentially limiting the maximum number of people per company. Typically, I do a max of 10 because at the end of the day, it's never going to be 10. There's an enrichment rate you need to keep in mind. So out of, let's say, 100, 269 matches that we found right here, 269 results, we are probably going to find maybe 200 emails if we're lucky, 100 if we're less lucky. So it's never going to be 10. It's usually going to be, roughly 5 to 7, depending on the enrichment rate, depending on the target industry as well. Lead quantity, let's say you found 269 results, but you only want 100 people, you can do that potentially and select 100 people and essentially scrape or extract those specific leads. Now, from there, you just need to click on confirm and export. In this case, let's say I only want 15 people, 15 leads. It's going to cost 75 credits because we have all of these fields are given for free, as you can see right here. Company and domain, industry, employee headcount, all of that stuff. And then these fields actually cost credits. So you can see they charge you for location. Let's say I don't want a location anymore. As you can see, costs less. Let's say you don't want the person linked in URL, though it's very useful, so I'm going to keep that on. Let's say I don't want a tech stack. It's going to cost 45 credits in this case. And obviously, it's going to cost for the fields, the high value fields, that's how they call them, that you want to export, such as business email, mobile phone number, right? I obviously want the business email because I want to email these people. And in this case, let's say I will do, again, let's do 30 leads. Let's confirm and export. And then from there, we should see our export popping up right here. It is this one, list and specific tag. 30 leads to be processed. You can also view the filters. You can see the order details and see like the stage or the status of this list in terms of whether it's been exported already or not. Let's refresh and see if we already have this list. But in any case, what we're going to do, it's still queued. In any case, what we're going to do is we're going to move on and go to the email engine, right? Because this is where things get interesting, right? We're going to the campaign section. And first of all, you need to connect some inboxes to the email engine. Now, you can either purchase new inboxes, like I said, from ScaleMail. That's the partner currently at Listkit for inbox purchasing. You can also connect your inboxes through a CSV, bulk email addition, or Google inboxes one at a time. Or if you're using ScaleMail, since you're watching this video, just simply ask our team to connect your inboxes to your Listkit email engine, and then from there, you can go ahead and create your campaigns, and then go from there, and not have to worry about importing inboxes, logging in inboxes, all of that fun stuff, which is pretty tedious and a pretty long task to do as well. As soon as we've already connected inboxes, we don't have any yet. We're gonna go to campaigns and then set up our campaign. We're click on create campaign right here at the top right corner, and we are going to name this test law firms US, and we're going to talk about a GEO offer in this case. Obviously, I'm just making this up, and this is just a test campaign. Now, very interesting thing that we could do from here is we could either upload a CSV of leads. Let's say we exported a CSV from somewhere else, another tool you use to find these people, find these leads. You can upload a CSV from there. But the interesting thing about this is you can import from order history, right? So what you can do here is you can select a list that you've already exported, right? Now, in this case, our list seems like it's still not exported. So otherwise, we would see it as our list with a tag, and we should see 30 emails, roughly 30 emails. Now, let's say, for the sake of this example, it may take a few more minutes for Listkit to export an entire list. Obviously, remember that it's also verifying your emails automatically. So it needs to go through, I think they do a triple verification process where they verify your emails 3 times. And as you know, because you've probably run this, quite a few times using other tools such as Never Bounce, Zero Bounce, Million Verifier, any other tools that you've used for email verification, it takes quite a while to verify a list of emails. And so that is what Listkit is already doing for you without you having to download a CSV, import it into a verification tool, anything like that. Listkit is doing it for you already automatically. So I think the time and the waiting period, the delay to wait for the list to actually be exported and ready is well justified, because instead of me having to sit down here and then download a bunch of CSVs and playing around with sheets, I can just sit down and wait for my list to be automatically verified for the email verification. So for the sake of this example, we're just going to choose this one with 40 emails. Again, not the correct list, but we're going to choose that one. You can see here, let's say you want to include leads already added to the global block list. I wouldn't do that. You can also exclude leads already in another campaign, which is very interesting because it allows you to avoid or prevent duplicates. I'm not going to do that because I really don't have any other campaigns active that are set up on the platform. So I'm just going to click on import leads right here. And then from there, we're just going to wait for this. You can see 51 leads imported. The order is set up. And then we can click on next, create sequence. Now here, very simple. I love how Listkit makes it so easy and so clean as far as like the interface and what I'm seeing on the platform. There's so many sequencers that there's so many features right here on the sequence tab that you don't know where to look. There's too many things. Here's super simple. It's literally just subject line, body copy. That's it. Add variant, add follow-up step, insert variable, just the basics that we need. So I just love how they're making it so simple and so easy to for really anyone to understand. If you're watching this video, you probably already have some experience in cold email. But if you're not, if you don't really have any experience, if you're just a beginner, I believe this is an awesome platform because literally allows you to literally does everything for you. So as you've seen, we just exported a list of people and it does all the verification automatically for you. Otherwise, you would have to use a bunch of other tools. The sequence section you can see is super simple to understand. The email engine, the sequencer, very simple to understand as well. And it's pretty fast. We've been like 15 minutes into the video, we're already creating a sequence with a list of leads. So let's go ahead here and say, this is a GEO offer example. So we're going to say in a sequence, in the subject line, we're going to say your ranking in LLMs, right? Body copy, hi first name, insert variable, comma. I checked out company name right here. This is the prospect company name as a variable, which by the way, Listkit already does and automatically gives you in the list. I checked out company name and so it doesn't rank in Chat GPT and Gemini and Claude for relevant search terms. We can help you. We're talking to law firms, so we can help you generate 5 to 7 more cases per month by appearing in LLM searches your ideal clients are making today. Open to a quick chat on how we would do it for you. And then you want to put your signature or whatever. Let's say you also want another step, you can thread it in the same sequence, or you can create a new subject line. If you create a new subject line, it's going to essentially just create a new thread. Delay, in this case, let's say you want 3 days, I'm good with that. And insert variable, again, hi first name. We recently helped law firm LLC generate 30 more cases in the first 90 days of working with us by helping them. There's a repetition, but never mind. Helping them show up in LLMs such as Gemini, Chat GPT for searches their prospects we are making. People are transitioning from Google search to these LLMs. Law firms that don't adapt will stay behind. We could do the same for you and generate 5 to 7 more cases a month with your 5 to 7 more cases per month using the same mechanism. If I send a quick 2-minute video showing how we would go about it for company name, and I put your signature. Cool. So I have my sequence right here, and then I'll click on set up a campaign. The next page is going to be the campaign setup, where you're going to see a bunch of settings, as you can see, such as the schedule. So in this case, let's say New York time zone is fine for me. Campaign start date, we're going to do today. Which days I also typically send on weekends for most clients. So we're going to choose that. Starting time, 9 a.m., 5 p.m. I'm fine with that. Every email sent or one email sent every, let's say, 30 minutes. This depends. If you have Google inboxes, Microsoft inboxes connected, just do some quick math. Let's say you're sending 25 cold emails per day per Google inbox, and you have 8 hours of sending scheduled during a day. You have therefore 480 minutes. If you want to send the 25 cold emails per day, minimum or actually your maximum limit or maximum delay should be no more than 19 minutes, right? For you to be able to actually send out all of your volumes. You might be able to also set up those settings and adapt those settings in the inbox section when you're actually changing the settings at the inbox level. For the sake of this video, we're gonna keep 20 because that was a default by Listkit. X number of leads reached per day per campaign. You always want to put a high number here because it doesn't really matter. You always want to probably maximize the number of sends that you can send from this campaign. So the limit is really just going to be on your inboxes, right? Not on your campaign, unless you want otherwise. Sending priority. This means 30% of the sends are going to be focused and prioritized towards follow-up emails, which is the second step of the sequence that we just set up. And then 70% is going to be new leads. 70% campaign essentially is going to prioritize reaching out to net new leads. Then once for at least 70% of the sends, then 30% is going to allocate 30% of the sends towards follow-ups. You can also change that however you want. Typically, I'm good with that range, with that kind of allocation. Company level auto pause. This basically allows you to pause the send or sending new emails to contacts at the same company. So it's actually very interesting because if you reach out to 10 people at the same company and you obviously start reaching out to them gradually and someone responds at a company with interest, right? You might want to pause the campaign for the other contacts at the same company. Now, I typically don't do this because we don't reach out to too many people at a company. And, even then it wouldn't be a problem. But it's a pretty interesting feature that I believe a lot of our sequencers are starting to implement right now. And then AI lead categorization, you can exclude out of office replies from the reply rate calculation. I typically do that. I also really always monitor both the reply rates, a reply rate including out of office or reply rate excluding out of office and automatic responses, which is the real manual reply rate. Let's call it like that. So you can exclude the out of office replies from the reply rate calculation. If you check this, this is going to only consider real manual replies in your reply rate, right? Which I believe, my opinion, is a more real or trustworthy, I guess, metric to rely on. If a lead is categorized as out of office, continue follow-ups after 10 days. I'm fine with that. This does it automatically, which is awesome. Basically, if you reach out to a lead and they are out of office, so you get a reply from them, which is an out of office response, Listkit is going to categorize that as out of office, is going to detect automatically that it was an out of office reply. And then right after 7, or in this case, 10 days, it's going to resume the sequence to that lead because maybe they're not out of office anymore, right? Very interesting feature. So I'm good with that. And the only thing that I need to do here to be able to move to the next section is actually adding email accounts, which in this case, I don't have. I still don't have email accounts on the platform. So really that's the only thing that you need to do to be able to go to the next page. The next page is very simple. It's just review and publish. So this is going to allow you to just launch the campaign and then you're really just good to go, right? That's all you need to do. So for the sake of this example, I'm going to close this thing right here. And then on the dashboard right here with all the campaigns, you're going to be able to see all of the campaigns that you have set up, that you have active, that you have as drafts, and so on. Master inbox, very simple. You can see all of the replies coming in. Obviously, in this case, we don't have any email accounts connected. We haven't launched any campaigns. But in this case, or in this section, in the master inbox, you're going to be able to see all of your replies of leads responding to email sequences. And that's pretty much it. Pretty basic. Again, I love how Listkit makes it super easy, for you to use all the features of a sequencer properly and everything that you need. Analytics, this is a stats section where you should be able to see all of your campaign analytics. Again, we don't have any campaigns active, but if you did have campaigns active, you should be able to see all of the analytics on aggregate across all of your campaigns. That is pretty much it for this video. So if you have any questions on Listkit, let me know, message me, DM me. Look forward to seeing you in another one. Cheers.